All right. Hey, good morning, everybody. I hope everybody is doing amazing. It's that time of day again. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's episode 1793. This morning's conversation and meditation and gratitude session was self-control. It was about retaliation, about using the law of retaliation. Now, most of us, when we think of the word retaliate, we're thinking about doing back to them the harm they did to us. Does that make sense? Every law has its opposite, right? If I'm the law of polarity, is what it's called. If I'm 2,000 miles away from you, you have to be exactly the same 2,000 miles away from me. You can't be 2,000 miles in 1 inch. There's the law of polarity. The law of retaliation is the same thing. When we retaliate, we haven't learned to use this word for good, for positive. Normally, retaliation is somebody does something bad to us. We will do bad back to them in kind. Does that make sense? That's what the word retaliate. It's not being used wrong. That's just the negative version of it. So when you understand self-control, that was the meditation this morning for gratitude. Gratitude for self-control. Self-control to say I'm going to do something, and you do the dang thing, right? You stay in long enough. Discipline is the ability to do something long after the emotion of making the decision has left. Which is why by the time you usually get home on an airplane from your event, you're usually back into the real world and you go, okay, I'm going to focus on that in just a second, but I'm going back. I haven't been there for 3 days. I haven't done this. And see the world, you feel the world retaliates against you for being off on your little jaunt, being off on your little journey, on your little junket. How was your event, right? How many of you have ever gone home and gotten home to your family, significant other? They go, how was your little event? Drop a one in the chat if you've ever had a little snarky comment when you return back home. The reason I share that is because you want to retaliate. What if you could learn to retaliate in good? What if the retaliation towards you was only good things? Starting to change the way you look at things. Napoleon Hill, all these names. Wallace D. Waddles said, it's not about doing things in a certain way. It's not about doing certain things. It's about doing things in a certain way. What if all of a sudden you wanted everybody to retaliate because you were putting such good into the world, they retaliated with like or more of the same? Is that making sense? So if you were to do gratitude blessings, I'm so happy and grateful for my retaliation of love because the love I put in the world is amazing. So how do you have self-control to use this law of retaliation to your effect? It's right. It's the law of cause and effect. You cause it, and this is what comes back. Self-controlled, you cause self-control. Control is what comes back. How many of you know somebody? How many of you know people who say the words, I don't feel like I'm in control of my life? Drop a C in the chat. If you know anybody who says, I don't feel like I'm in control of my life, that's because they're not putting the control into their life. So how do you build your self-control to build your wealth? You got to start right now. You start right now with the idea, with the concept, with the belief, with the faith and understanding. Maybe you have to define what self-control is. This is what happens when you have your DMP in place, your definite major purpose, or Napoleon Hill called it two things, your DMP or your DCA, your definite chief aim. What are you searching for? What are you going for? What did you wake up today for? I hope you didn't wake up today to be in pain. You didn't wake up today to be suffering. You didn't wake up today to be in lack, to be less than, to feel less than loved. I hope you didn't wake up for that. I don't believe anybody did. What I think what happens is we lose our self-control and we wind up in a pattern. Do you realize, listen carefully, come here. Do you realize that you are in your comfort zone because you lack self-control? This comfort zone you have to get out of means you have no self-control. Why would you put yourself into this comfort zone you need to get out of? Because you lack self-control. So how do I get my self-control back, Sean? How do I step out of this comfort zone? How do I stay in my advancing self? How do I stay in my highest energy? You have to use the modalities that are available. It's not that you don't have the skills. You have the skills. How do I know? Because you've been out of your comfort zone before. You've stepped into your bliss zone, your joy zone, your wealth zone. You've had money before. It's just you kind of peed it all away because you didn't have self-control. So, all right. Okay, I get it. Tell me how to have self-control. You have to begin with where you're at. So it would help you to understand what EFT does, energy freedom technique, the tapping. It opens up meridians on the body. And in opening up these meridians, you can become aware of where you are. The biggest challenge is most people aren't resetting their GPS, their goal positioning self. Your GPS, your goal positioning self. Your GPS needs to be reset to today, right now, in this moment. You're still using your GPS that was set to your last event, that was set to the last time you were with your coach or teacher or mentor. You have to reset it to today, March 6, 2024. Some of your GPSs are set to 5 years ago. And the reset is you've got to show up here now. So you need to create a statement that says where you are right now and you acknowledge it. EFT allows you to do that. EFT gives you the space to do that. Right now, I'm currently with some less than income models that I need. My ability to leverage income models I have, I need to improve my skill set. How many of you have ever sat down at a meeting and had somebody had a conversation with you say, listen, it's okay for you to acknowledge where you currently are. You need to improve your skills to learn how to leverage the income model that's available to you. Drop an I in the chat if you could improve your skills to leverage your income model. I don't care what your income model is, but do you think you could improve your skills? And if you improve your skills, you can do that through knowledge. You can do it through awareness. You can do it through the physical actions of the body. What would be something you would want to improve? Write it down in your notebook. Write it down in your journal. You don't need to type it in the chat. What's one skill you could improve? Now ask yourself, that skill, that discipline, does it require more self-control or less? Drop an M in the chat if it requires more or less, or an L for less. Starting to see what's happening? It's going to require more self-control, more awareness, more actions on the small things. I've created a program called NES, Neuro Energetic Self-Sculpting. It's a program and a process through the use of binaural beats and dual talk and mission statements and EFT and chakra frequencies. Understanding how all of these things work together in your favor, that you create an overwhelming force of retaliation to fear and doubt. See, you haven't retaliated yet to fear and doubt. There's people I was chatting with last night that said they're just afraid of rejection. They want to do it for themselves, but they're afraid of rejection. We need to retaliate to rejection with exception, with being accepted by your peers. Couldn't we retaliate in that way? Couldn't we become so overwhelmingly positive that it's impossible for us to be rejected? When you truly understand where rejection happens, it happens in their world, not ours. When I say no to you, I'm saying no to me. Yet you take ownership of it. I'm not sure why. So if you want to learn about the Nest program, if you'd like to have a 30, 45-minute conversation on that, reach out to me. We'll talk about it. We'll kind of do an intake session, see how it fits for you. If it works, great. Then we'll figure out what the next step is. The challenge is that you are going to retaliate today against fear and doubt with more fear and doubt. And that's not a good retaliation. You're going to retaliate against your dreams with saying you're stuck in a comfort zone. That's not a good retaliation. That's not going to win the battle. You're going to retaliate against rejection with feeling less than. That's not a good retaliation. I'd encourage you to begin the battle of your own success. And the one big thing you'll want is self-control. How to control this. How to control your mind. It's the only thing you have complete and absolute control over. When you learn how to control your mind and use it to your advantage, life will be forever changed. I'm going to go have a conversation with my VIP group. If you'd like to join us there, you can go to www.unlearnme.live. I'll see y'all over there. Thanks, Instagram. Bye for now. And YouTube, I love you tons. I'll see y'all where? I'll see you at the next amazing, fun-filled, fact-filled, brain-scrambling event. Till then, bye for now.